One category of products that have become really popular after smartphones has to be budget earphones. This is primarily because most budget earphones that you buy online or offline don't come with a pair of earphones inside the box, which then becomes imperative for the user to actually buy a pair after you've bought your smartphone. Which is why I know that a lot of folks like to look at affordable options around the rupees 500 price range. I know and I understand that hamara daddy Bambani hai, Ambani nahi. And therefore, what I did is when Realme sent over a pair of the Realme Buds, I thought why not just go all out and compare the best 500 rupee earphones that you can buy today. So what are you waiting for? Hi, I'm Ershad from Mr. Phone, and let's get down to this video where we're going to find out which is the best earphone under rupees 500, 2019 edition. But before we move on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it, because we make more such awesome tech videos like this one. So you know what, for this comparison, apart from the Realme Buds, I also have the Mi earphones basic. We also have the Ant Audio Thumb 504. This one comes in a white color. There's also two other colors. There's the Boat Bass Heads 225 and the VE Monk Buds with the mic. This is the mic edition of the earphone. Now I will be comparing these earphones across multiple different categories, firstly being design and comfort, and after that I will actually compare the sound signature, which will break down into bass, mids, trebles, clarity, and the SOUNDSTAGE itself. I am assigning points to each earphones for each category. In the end, the final tally will help us determine a winner. This is definitely subjective scoring, so don't take that with a pinch of salt, but I will explain which one was suited for which genre in the end. Now for the purpose of the review, since most of you guys will be using it with a smartphone, I have used the View 20, which actually comes with a headphone jack, so that's really cool. And you know what, I've actually tested it out with the Hyson effect on the View 20, with the priority being clarity more than anything else. This helps us push an authentic natural sound reproduction. These settings actually kind of work, so that's pretty good. To begin with, I'm going to talk about the design of these earphones, which are actually of paramount importance to a lot of folks. But unlike headphones, which are actually showy devices, earphones are not really that showy, because they plug into your ears and you cannot really, they actually go into oblivion once they're into your ears. But a little bit of wacky design element or a splash of color somewhere will give one of these earphones an advantage, and let's start talking about that now. To start off, let's start talking about the Realme Buds. I think they're truly the best looking pair of earphones of the lot, with Realme adding yellow accents to the spine holding the wires and including the signature R logo on the rear. You're looking at a polished design. Moreover, Realme has added magnets to ensure that the earphones stick together. I really haven't seen such a design on any earphone under rupees 1000, let alone under rupees 500. The only design aspects missing on the Realme Buds are the L-shaped and gold-plated 3.5mm jack. Incidentally, both of which are present on the Boat Bass Heads 225. As far as the design goes, these are my second favorite. While I'm not particularly a fan of the oval-shaped ridge housings on the Boat Bass Heads 225, I still like the unique green color on offer. Also, flat cables are a nice touch. But there is only one single button inline control, unlike the Realme Buds, which has separate buttons for the volume control. The rest of the earphones have a pretty basic design. The Mi earphones set themselves apart with an L-shaped jack. On the other end, the Thumb 504 has a flat cable, but it doesn't even have left and right marked on the earphones. How stupid is that? The VE Monk, which is probably my least favorite design of the lot, has a very old school style. Yes, the transparent housings look interesting, but the plastic body doesn't inspire much confidence. So now we have two different styles of designs for these earphones out here. Ones that go in ear and one that is actually a earbud style, and those are very rare to find now, but we have the VE Monk Buds out here. Some people actually prefer that design compared to the in-ear ones, and I can understand that, but the VE Monk Buds without the foam are extremely uncomfortable to wear, something that I'm not really a fan of. So you definitely need the foam in case you're using the VE Monk Buds. As for the in-ears, the Realme Buds, thanks to the angular tube, sits inside the ears comfortably. Moreover, the Realme Buds have smaller housings, making it sit flat when you lie on the bed. It doesn't really jut out. The Mi earphones basic are equally comfortable thanks to the angular tube, but they are slightly more protruded compared to the Realme Buds. Finally, the Boat and the Ant Audio have straight fits and feel okay in the ears. The inherent problem with in-ears is that some people find it really uncomfortable to actually put it in their ears and actually listen to it for long listening sessions. And that is why something like the VE Monk buds actually works in their purpose. But these buds, again, I have to say this, without the foam tips, are extremely uncomfortable. They're like actually knives on your ears. I'm not a fan of them. So you definitely need the foam buds. Coming to the most important part of this comparison, where we actually start testing the sound quality. Let's start off by talking about the clarity on offer, where I will actually talk about the imaging, which is the instrument separation, and the tonality on offer. For the purpose of this test, I actually heard Aigiri Nandini from the movie Solo. This is a rock version of the song which is heavy on electric guitar and percussions. It's a very good song to actually test out the sound quality of earphones. To begin with, let's talk about the Mi Earphones Basic. They have a very warm sound with a loose low end, and it is sort of a muddied bass response that affects the overall clarity of the sound. At around the 507 mark, when multiple instruments crowd the song, the earphones struggle with distinguishing the different sounds of the instruments. It all becomes a cacophony of sounds bleeding into each other. On the other hand, the Realme Buds have this powerful low-end attack which makes it an exciting sound signature. But the clarity takes a hit because of the unrefined treble performance of the earphones. The shimmer of the hi-hats were not as pronounced on the Realme Buds. The instrument separation is clean only till the guitars and the drums are at the fore with vocals running as a backing track. The moment the cymbals kick in, the treble sort of bleeds into the other frequencies. That said, it does offer better clarity than the Mi Earphones Basic. The unclear and muddied low end also extends to the Thumb 504. In fact, it is my least favorite pair of IEMs out there. The clarity is missing and the overall sound is very unnatural. Now my second favorite earphones as far as the clarity is concerned has to be the Bose Baseheads 225. The earphones offer a good control over clarity compared to the other in-ears. It is the loudest earphone too of all the 5. You also get excellent channel separation, which is great. The only problem in the otherwise great sound quality of the Bose Baseheads 225 is the sibilance on offer. So for people who don't understand sibilance is the S sound. It sounds a little too shrill. That the sound that I'm making, that is what is sibilance. That sort of is a little extensive on the Bose Baseheads 225. Finally, my favorite earphones as far as the clarity is concerned has to be the VE Monk Plus. Thanks to the design, the earphones leak more sound than the rest and are not very loud either, but it makes up for those negatives with incredible clarity and imaging on offer. You can hear all the instruments separately and clearly, and it has better channel separation too. Of all the earphones in this comparison, the VE Monk Buds clearly offers the best clarity of the lot. So coming to the part where we're going to be talking about the SOUNDSTAGE on offer, the SOUNDSTAGE is essentially what is the soundscape around your head. Basically, how are the sounds placed around your head, and if you can hear them at a distance and yet it sounds good when it does that. That is what SOUNDSTAGE is. And most earphones, I wasn't actually really expecting much, because most earphones cannot reproduce a clean soundstage because they go inside your ear and they are in your head, so the sound feels like they are within your head. So that's not creating a good soundscape. You need headphones for that. So I wasn't really expecting much when it came to the SOUNDSTAGE. Now to test the SOUNDSTAGE, I used Jacob Collier's Hideaway. It is a wonderfully mastered song, and that guy is a genius anyway. As far as the soundstaging is concerned, the VE Monk Plus and the Realme Buds are better than the rest. But you know what, they are also not that great when compared to something like the Grado GW100, which is a pair of open back headphones. So obviously, it's unfair to compare a pair of open back headphones for SOUNDSTAGE to a pair of in-ears, but at least it gave me a perspective on what to expect when you actually use earbuds and in-ear earphones. The sound staging on all of these 5 earphones are not that great, and I have scored them accordingly in the table. So finally, coming to that section that most of you have probably been waiting for, I'm going to talk about the bass on offer on all of these earphones. Well, like its name suggests, there is dollops of bass on offer on the Bose Baseheads 225. In that sense, it is meant for bass heads. I used the track Mirza by Nuclear to test the low-end response. The Baseheads 225 has a little decay when the beats kick in, but it is not as bad as the other earphones. It is a fairly fast attack as far as ultra low end budget earphones go. Thankfully, the bass also does not bleed into the other frequencies. So I think for bass response, the Bose Bass Sets 2 to 5 is by far the best earphones that you can buy. The Realme Buds and the Mi earphones offer a good amount of bass too. The bass is not as big as the Bass Sets 2 to 5, but it is good nonetheless. The decay of the low end is kinda higher and the attack is not as pronounced as the Bass Sets 2 to 5, which is why these earphones got like 1 point lower in my subjective scoring. The Thumb 504 has a very average bass response, nothing to write home about. Similarly, the VE Monk Plus have little to no bass at all. The VE Monk Plus is more about analytic listening, so you will see a higher rating in the mids and the trebles for these earphones. For testing the mid-range performance of these earphones, I actually listened to Annie Sophie Von Otter's Baby Plays Around. This track comes recommended by What Hi-Fi for testing out the mid-range performance, and you know what, honestly I've heard this song so many times that I clearly understand what the difference in the crest and the trough of her vocal range is when listening to it. Starting off with the Realme Buds, there are peaks in the mids and Annie's voice doesn't sound very smooth. Also, the bass frequencies of the instrument sometimes bleed into the voice, making it sound muddled. Similarly, the Bose Bass Sets 2 to 5 could have done with a better dynamic range. Once again, I heard uneven peaks in the voice and there's some unwanted sibilance too. The Antaudio Thumb 504 are even worse. They're so bad that they actually make Annie sound like she is dead inside. There is literally no emotion in her voice and it is not good when you're listening to classical tracks. But the shining beacon compared to the other in-ears is the Mi earphones. It offers a very restrained and well-defined mid-range response. It is not as good as the VE Monk Plus, but it comes close and that in itself is saying a lot. Which brings us to the VE Monk Buds. The vocals are faithfully reproduced by these earbuds. It is a no-fuss mid-range response that is close to what the artist intended. No wonder these are highly praised in the audiophile community. Now, as far as the treble performance is concerned, not one of these earphones actually reproduce a good treble performance, but I quite liked the VE Monk Buds. I mean, they offer a decent amount of treble, but that happens only when I used a proper DAB. These actually require a good source for it to be powered and uncover its true potential. Smartphones really cannot push that limit. So if you are someone who likes a little bit of good sound, you might want to use an external DAC on your phone or get a proper DAB. As for the rest, none of these actually offer good performance and I've rated them accordingly. And you know what, the Bose Bass Sets 2 to 5 has a problem with sibilance, so that becomes doubly bad. Now this is the final bit of the comparison where I actually test out the mic performance, and I know that a lot of you guys ask people around for which is the best earphones with a good mic. So in this 500 rupee price range, there is not much separating between the mic performance of all of these, but objectively and subjectively the best sounding mics are on the VE Monk Plus. The receiver sounded very clear, the noise cancellation was good too, and my sound was very clear too on the other end as I got to know from the receiver. So during calls, the VE Monk Plus actually does a decent job. And the worst points of all was the Realme Buds, because the mic on this had a little bit of distortion and it wasn't very loud either, so that sort of worked against its favor, but it's not exactly very bad. It's still workable. The final four, apart from the VE Monk Plus, which includes the Realme Buds, are not that bad. They're almost same on performance levels, so you really shouldn't have much of a problem with the mics on these earphones. So that's it. That was this long comparison. Once again, we're at the end of this comparison, and now on your screen what you see is the final points tally. One look at it and you will see how close the competition actually was. According to the table, the VE Monk Plus might have emerged a winner, but I know that a lot of folks might not find it fit for their use. Not to mention, the Monk Plus might not be easily available in India for a good price. The mic variant of the VE Monk Plus actually retails for around rupees 800 on hifinage.com. But the thing about the VE Monk Plus is that a lot of people who buy this actually buy it from Chinese exporting sites like AliExpress and GearBest, where you can get them for $5 a pop, which is like extremely affordable, which is why I put this in the best around rupees 500 category. And in that scenario, that considered the second best earphones in this comparison, the Realme Buds actually becomes a choice for a lot of consumers, a good choice for a lot of consumers. It looks good, it sounds great, there is a decent amount of bass, and it is suited for modern day loud recordings. So that definitely works in its purpose. In fact, if I had to choose one, I'd probably pick the Realme Buds. Now, the third best is the Boat Bassets 225. This is specifically meant for those who actually want a good amount of bass, and that's their primary lookout. And you know what, the mic performance is good too, so it definitely serves the purpose. The design is not that bad either, so both the Boat Bassets 225 actually will serve your purpose if bass is your only thing. But I had a problem with the sibilance, and that extension, that treble peak, sort of annoyed me. So if you're someone who doesn't like the treble peak, you might find this annoying as well. And coming to the Mi Earphones Basic, these look good. They're made of metal, so all of that is pretty cool about the Mi Earphones Basic. But it is a pair of basic earphones meant for good mid-range songs. So if you're listening to a lot of podcasts and that is your purpose, then the Mi Earphones Basic will suit your purpose. And it is great for vocal heavy songs. So if you listen to a lot of acoustic songs and a lot of Bollywood songs, it'll work for you perfectly. And the mic is not that bad either, so definitely the Mi Earphones Basic is for someone like that. But the one pair of earphones that you can probably safely avoid and objectively, average sounding compared to the rest, has to be the Ant Audio Thumb 504. I actually expected a lot from it, but unfortunately it didn't serve my purpose, and I know that a lot of folks might not find it very good sounding either, so you can safely probably avoid buying this one. So I hope you guys really like this long comparison. It helps you make an informed purchase decision for whatever money you're spending. So this is rupees 500. So if you want to buy a pair of earphones under rupees 500, within these options I have laid it out for you guys which one is the best one for you, and you know which video to share when somebody asks you for a recommendation under rupees 500. Which brings me to this: don't forget to like, comment and share on this video, because that will help us grow as well. Now, links to each one of these earphones are in the description below. A buy link to each one of these earphones are in the description below, so you can go ahead and check that out. So for those of you guys who waited till now patiently, I have a surprise for you. We have 4 of these Realme Buds for giveaway. So in case you guys want to win one of these, all you have to do is go to Instagram and follow Mr. Phone over there and like the Instagram post we have made specifically for this giveaway. And apart from that, you also have to let us know in the comment section of that Instagram post as to why you should win the Realme Buds. And the final thing that you have to do is tag 4 of your friends as well. So that's all you need to do. The steps must be coming up here somewhere, and we have put the steps down in the description of the video as well, along with the Instagram post. So what are you guys waiting for? Go ahead, take part in that contest and giveaway in case you want to win a pair of Realme Buds. Until next time, this is Ershad from Mr. Phone signing off. Goodbye.